All right, guys, today I'm going to answer a question about a subject that is very near and dear to my heart. Specifically, the maximum amount of protein that you can eat on a ketogenic diet. So here's the question from Quickie Landweg. Hey, Bob, what's your opinion on the amount of protein in relation to fat per day? I read that if you take in too much protein, it actually gets turned into glucose and hinders your body's ability to stay in ketosis. I eat about 200 grams of protein per day on a 3,250 calorie low carb bulk, 6 feet 6 inches tall, 178 pounds. So far, I'm feeling great, but I just started my keto bulk about 2.5 weeks ago. Kind regards. Okay. For those of you who don't know what he's talking about, most people use carbohydrates for energy. Okay, they turn carbs into glucose, and that's what fuels their body. If you cut down on your carbohydrates, your body will have no choice but to start burning fat, both the fat you eat and the body fat on your body, through a process called ketogenesis. What you basically do is you take the fat, switch it over into ketone bodies, and instead of glucose, use the ketone bodies to fuel your body. Okay. All these guys out here who thinks the sky's falling, conspiracy theory guys, the guys that just have negative attitudes, start talking about a concept called gluconeogenesis. Gluconeogenesis is a process by which you can take protein, break it down, and make glucose out of it. Now, if that were to happen, it would be possible for you to stay burning carbohydrates for energy, stay burning glucose for energy, okay, because you're breaking down and creating glucose from protein. So you would still be burning carbs, but you're not eating any carbs, and because gluconeogenesis is not very efficient, you wouldn't really be getting enough energy, but you're also creating too much of your own glucose to go into ketosis, okay? Now, before I say anything else, this is going to be a longer video, okay? So let me just give you the cliff notes up front if you don't want to watch the whole video. And here it is. Excessive protein consumption leading to gluconeogenesis, leading to you being kicked out of ketosis, is the biggest bunch of bullshit I have ever heard of in my entire life, period, end of story. That is all you need to know. You don't have to watch the rest of this video. But if you're interested, I'm going to go ahead and explain what I'm talking about. Okay. Now, first of all, for the people who just want to talk about science, okay, that just want to talk about science, I'm going to go ahead and explain this on a scientific level. Then I'm going to go ahead and start talking about experience and real world situations, okay? So here's the scientific point of view. You have people who say to go into ketosis, to switch over to a fat burning mode, you have to have a certain ratio of calories, okay? So many percent of your calories come from fat, carbs, and protein. Now, these people who come up with this bullshit about excessive protein consumption causing gluconeogenesis, causing you to come out of a ketogenic state, say, oh, but if you take more than so many grams of protein per day, you're not going to be able to go into ketosis. Or if you take more than so many grams of protein per pound of body weight per day, you're not going to be able to go into ketosis. And they also throw out these ratios of fat to protein to carbs for you to go into ketosis. Now, maybe I'm a genius, but this is immediately flawed. It just immediately glares into me, it just blinds me how ridiculously stupid this is. It makes zero mathematical sense. Let's forget everything and let's just talk mathematics. You say, I could only have so many grams of protein a day, so many grams of protein per pound of body weight a day, whatever, okay? The same person says you need to have a ratio of percentages of calories from protein, carbs, and fat. That doesn't make sense already. Because listen to this. Let's say I take in 70% fat calories and 30% calories from protein and minimal, negligible amount of carbohydrates a day. And I eat 1,000 calories a day. Now let's say I eat 2,000 calories a day. 70% from fat, 30% from protein, minimal, negligible, not worth mentioning amount of carbohydrates. Now, according to your ratio, I could take in twice as many absolute grams of protein per day. Okay? I could take in twice as many grams of protein per pound of body weight per day because I'm taking in twice as many calories. So if I use your ratio, you're giving me permission to take in twice as many grams of protein a day at the same body weight. So it doesn't make sense already. You know, if either A, when you say it has to be this ratio, you're not allowed to say how many grams of protein absolute, how many grams of protein per pound of body weight, because if it's a ratio, it's going to change with how many total calories you take in a day. Okay? First of all. Second, you know, like I said, if you're going to say you're only allowed to take in so many grams a day of protein absolute, the more calories you take in, you know, you're not allowed to give in a ratio then. Okay? So, like I said, it makes zero mathematical sense to say that there's a maximum amount of protein. And if you go above that, you're going to go ahead and kick yourself out of ketosis. Okay? First of all. Now, let's start talking my language. My language is not what somebody who's too fat or too skinny or whatever, is just totally out of shape, but read a book or watched a YouTube video and he's playing keyboard warrior talking shit about somebody who knows how to diet, okay? Let's get into my world here, okay? And the fact of the matter is, everybody who is a bodybuilder and gotten results from a low-carb diet, everybody who has trained or done the nutrition for bodybuilders, okay, by putting them on a low-carb diet, and has actually gotten results in the real world with real people, puts them on more protein than the people who don't know what the hell they're talking about and just throw ratios and limits and things around say, okay? So that's another thing that I just want to say there. For instance, Vince Gironda. Everybody used Vince Gironda's steak and eggs diet or his meat, eggs, and water diet back in the 70s. Arnold did it. Franco did it. Everybody did it back then, okay? And it was basically like a 60-40 mix between fat and protein when you break it down, okay? You know, the same thing with me, for instance, right here. I've got, I just wrote down like a maintenance diet, okay? A standard maintenance diet. Not bulking, not cutting. And it comes down to 57% fat, 3% carbs, 39% protein. I know it doesn't add up. We're talking the real world here, okay? And it basically comes down to 245 grams of protein. At 170 pounds of lean body weight, 245 grams of protein is right about 1.5 grams of protein per pound of body weight. Okay, let's continue this further. Let me say my lean bulk, okay? The lean bulk, I'm going ahead and I'm getting in, you know, for 170 pounds lean weight, I'm getting in my 1.5 grams of protein still, but I'm increasing my I'm increasing the amount of calories I get in by increasing my fat. Okay, so I'm still getting 249 grams of protein, about 1.5 grams per pound of body weight, but I'm getting in 3,340 calories, which is almost 20 calories instead of 15, 20 calories per gram of body weight. So I'm still getting in 1.5 grams of protein per pound of lean body weight, but I'm getting in 69% fat, 2% carbs, 30% protein. Like I said, I know it doesn't add up exactly, but this is the real world. This is a real diet, not some theoretical bullshit. Okay, I'm still basically 70-30, and I'm still getting in 1.5 grams per pound of lean body weight of protein. Now, let's go ahead and talk about Quickie Landweg. Okay, he says 178 pounds. He says 3,250 calories, 200 grams of protein. That works out to 25% of his calories coming in from protein. So like I said, the bottom line is this. It's like, even the guys out there who say that, you could only get 25% of your calories from protein. You are only getting 25% of your calories from protein. Personally, I do not feel good if I'm not getting at least 1.5 grams of protein per pound of body weight. That's where I stay at least. Okay? 1.5 grams per pound of body weight. If I take in any less than that, my muscles break down in a workout, and then they don't recover, and they get more broken down after workout. I just get soreness that stays for days. If I get 1.5 grams of protein per pound of body weight minimum, then I start to feel pretty good. I recover from my workouts, and I feel great. So what I'm really basically trying to say here is, you can't take somebody who sits on his ass all day and types on a keyboard about ketogenic diets, and maybe he's losing weight, maybe he is, but he's sitting on his ass all day. I mean, there's this one podcast I'm not fat bashing, I'm not talking shit about this guy, but there was a podcast I was listening to where a guy went from like 500 pounds to 300 pounds on a ketogenic diet, and he was drawing blood and doing like a breathalyzer test to see if he's producing ketones and stuff like that. Basically this guy was like 100% killer at, the ketogenic diet. And I'm impressed that he lost 200 pounds. But the fact is he's 300 pounds. And I'm not fat bashing. I'm just saying people are different. If I take in, yesterday, okay, I did, my leg workout, my lower body workout. I went ahead and I did my handstand, L-sit, bridging, planking, whatever to warm up and do some core work. Then I started doing squat tucks, okay, where I squat down, touch the ground, jump up as high as I can, and bring my knees to my chest. I was doing that for intervals, okay, 10 reps, rest, 10 reps, rest. Then I did burpees, where I go down, do a push-up, jump up again, 10 reps, rest, 10 reps, rest. That was like my cardio warm-up workout. Then I went ahead and I did, hanging leg raises, completely straight legs, okay, with 10-pound ankle weights. That means 10 pounds left, 10 pounds right. Total of 20 pounds of weight hanging from my legs while I'm doing straight leg, which most people can't do anyway, hanging leg raises. Then I did 4 sets of pistol squats, and then I did a total 500 body weight squats. Now tell me that I do not need more protein to recover from a workout like that than a guy who's sitting on his ass, and no offense, no fat bashing, a 200-pound weight loss is awesome, but a guy who's sitting on his ass doing podcasts about ketogenic diets, who went from 500 pounds and massively, massively morbidly obese, unhealthy obese, to 300 pounds where he's still extremely overweight, okay? All respect to this guy. I think he's great. But the fact of the matter is, do not tell me that he deserves to sit behind his keyboard and tell me that I have the same protein requirements as he does. Because I ain't buying that shit. Okay? So, and the thing is this. I actually did a little bit of research, okay? Not just research studies, okay? But I actually did a little bit of research by looking into like forums and seeing what people actually take in. 1 gram per pound of body weight is like standard. For bodybuilders on ketogenic diets, 1.5. A lot of people are on 1.5. A lot of people only get 60% fat calories a day, which allows for a higher percentage of protein calories. And they say they're feeling great. They're doing great in the gym. Okay. And, and here's the thing too. Let me just say this. It's like, for instance, I'm going to a gym where they have like this crazy ass machine. You like stand on it, and then it turns you in a circle, and it, shoots electricity from one foot in the other, and it, scans you in. They used to do this in Germany when I was living there for a while to make custom-made suits. They just scan your body in with a laser and, know exactly what measurements for the suit. But anyway, what this does is it measures everything, your entire body, all your dimensions, your body fat and everything. My girlfriend, I mentioned this in my last video, she went on the pure protein diet because she wanted to dress up like Harley Quinn, for Halloween. And, she went in to get scanned like this. And the guy was like, he's like, oh, wow, you're doing, really great. You're going ahead and you're doing like, she lost like 5 pounds and she gained 4 pounds of muscle. And I'm like, wait a minute. He's like, oh man, that's really good, for a month. I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. Let me just see here though. She lost 5 pounds, but she gained 4 pounds of muscle. Doesn't that mean she lost 9 pounds of fat and gained 4 pounds of muscle? And he's like, yeah, you're right. Because, you're right. She lost 9 pounds and gained 4 pounds of muscle. It's like, how did you do this? And she's explaining this to the guy, like, oh, basically the pure protein diet, and I'm like, okay, great. Like a couple days later, I'm doing my bridging and planking, and I hear the same trainer talking to a guy saying, you can't really go on a low carb diet and that stuff doesn't work and you don't have energy. It's like, he just saw less than a week before the results my girlfriend got on this diet, and he's saying, oh, it doesn't make sense. Those people who come up with, if you're taking more protein than this, are the same people that will stand outside next to a tree, look at a beehive and say, well, according to my slide rule, a bumblebee can't fly. It's just impossible. Dude, you just got bit 3 times by bees that flew in, stung you, and left. And you're telling me that but look at the science here. The science proves it. Okay, look at your fucking eyes, and you'll see that bumblebees can fly, you goddamn moron. Okay? So, and I'm not even going to get into the concept of ratios are bullshit either, because like I said, I'm taking right now 70% of my calories from protein, 30% of my calories from fat. Pure protein diet, I'm feeling great. I'm getting stronger. I'm losing weight rapidly. Okay, fat weight rapidly. As a matter of fact, last week, I got like 0.5 pounds of body weight I lost, because I measured myself this morning, but I lost 3/4 of an inch around my waist. You know what that means? That means I'm losing fat and building muscle at the same time at a remarkable rate. So like I said, for the people that say even ratios, how could I, if I am not living on fat, like ketones created by breaking down fat, how could I possibly have awesome energy, be in an awesome mood, not be hungry, be getting stronger in the gym, if I'm eating 70% of my calories from fat, and that apparently, is going to kill you or something? Okay? And now, finally, I just want to end this by, telling this guy, basically, that he answered his own question, okay? What is the last thing that he said? So far, I am feeling great, but I just started my keto bulk about 2.5 weeks ago. Okay. This is, okay, go ahead and watch this video too. Okay, what is it? Do I really need to be in ketosis to lose weight? That's a video where I'm going to have a link for it below. Watch that video too, where I talk about a similar concept, okay? What I basically said there, what I'm saying here is, dude, if you are on these macronutrients, okay, these ratios, these amount of macronutrients, and you feel great, and you're doing well in the gym, and you're getting stronger but not really fatter, just fucking be happy, bro. Just be happy. If it's working for you, it's great. And if some guy who's 300 pounds, who used to be 500 pounds, is going to talk shit and tell you you're wrong, who gives a fuck? Just be goddamn happy. Seriously, if you are on a diet, you're getting good results, and you're feeling great, and some jack off behind a computer keyboard tells you that you're wrong, he tells you how you must be feeling because you can't possibly be feeling good, fuck that guy. Seriously, fuck him. Okay? Do what works for you. Do what makes you feel good. Do what makes you healthy. And like I said, because the bottom line at every single diet isn't the science, it isn't whether it's in fashion, it isn't whether people think it's cool or not, it isn't if it's the newest trend. The bottom line when you're on a diet, to gain weight, to lose weight, to get healthy, to do whatever, is does the goddamn diet work or not? Okay, and that's all anybody at the end of the day really cares about. So don't look for science, look for results. Keep doing what you're doing. And as a matter of fact, I would probably increase my total calories and increase my protein intake to 1.5 grams per pound of body weight if I was you. But like I said, if what you're doing is working, don't even listen to me. Just keep doing what you're doing and don't worry about how much protein you're taking in.